All right, Dave. So we want to do a video about monks.
All right, what are you thinking, Ted?
All right. Well, I'm going to go off the wall. What if we move the set, go do some awesome wire work, maybe some green screen stuff.
Ted, are you crazy? You're talking like some kind of wild, crouching tiger or hidden dragon stuff. We don't get the budget for that. For the love of God, I'm wearing a bathrobe.
Well, you kind of do have a point there.
Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Dave, and today I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchist Ted. Today we're going to continue our series of best race to play this class, and today we're talking the monk.
Do you want practical D&D content you can put right in your Dungeons & Dragons game?
If the answer is yes, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and attune to that notification bell.
We're going to jump into Monk. I want to start off with a little disclaimer. We're going to talk about key points at some point and use the word key a lot in this video, more than likely. And at some point, we're probably going to say Kai. Just so you know, yes, we are aware we're saying it wrong. Well, and speaking of disclaimers, we might as well jump into our other disclaimer. There is certain races that are just good at playing anything because they have multiple bonuses that they can just put where they want. Generally, the half-elf, human, Simic hybrid, as well as the Warforged Envoy. But guess what? Simic hybrid, we're kicking you off the list for this one because you don't get enough floating pluses to make it work.
Yeah, with the monk, they have more than one prime stat. They need dex and wisdom. I mean, technically, they don't need them both, but to be an awesome monk, you need both. And the Simic hybrid with their one floating +1. Sorry, man, you just don't make the cut.
Now, you can kind of maybe get away with a bonus to strength and wisdom if you want to make a strength-based monk, but it's still a bit tough.
We're looking at a lot less races that are going to be mechanically, stat-wise, a monk, or superior monk, if you will. So what are we looking at here?
Player's Handbook, we only get 3. We get human, half-elf, as well as the wood elf.
Right, now, we all know that wood elves would make phenomenal monks, and that's the only one that's not on our disclaimer list. That's saying a lot about the races in the Player's Handbook. I hope we have some more to choose from later on.
Monk is a hard class to statistically maximize. Now, that doesn't mean you can't play a monk that isn't fun without those prime stats. Just putting out, if you want to make the absolute best monk, the easiest way to do it is to have a race that is going to give you those bonuses to strength and dex as well as wisdom.
So now, next we're going to go to the Player's Guide to Elemental Evil, and there we're going to look at the Aarakocra.
Yes, we get the Aarakocra, wisdom and dex, and you get those awesome wings. From there, we're going to Volo's Guide to Monsters, and we only get a couple choices.
And what are those going to be, Dave?
We've got Kenku and Furbolg.
Now Kenku, I mean, they don't really seem, super monastery. Furbolg, I see them as, kind of pacifists. So, I don't know. Our list is looking pretty slim at the moment.
I don't know, the whole tranquility kind of monk for the Furbolg. The biggest problem with them is their other bonuses and strength. So I feel like, the strength based, while it's a fun concept, it is a little subpar to the dex base. Now the Kenku, I totally disagree because I think they would make awesome shadow monks or Way of the Shadow.
That is true. I'd be pretty terrified of one of them.
All right, next up, Sorko's Adventurer's Guide. We get one more.
All right, so now here we got the Ghostwise Halfling. Now I've played... It was a one-shot, but I played a Ghostwise Halfling monk, and it was a lot of fun. I like their telepathy. I don't fully understand why they get it, but hey, it's pretty cool.
Well, and so the other thing is, by getting the stats where they go, it makes them good for being a monk. Lucky is great no matter what. They're also going to have brave. And then on top of all of that, one of the disadvantages to playing a small race is you don't get to do as much damage because your weapons tend to be smaller. Well, in this case, your damage die is going to consistently go up as you improve as a monk.
As every other monk would, you're going to punch just as hard.
Absolutely. So next we're going to go to the turtle package. Can you guess what race is going to be in there?
I don't know. Could it be the turtle?
There's only one. This is actually the most viable strength-based monk you could possibly play because you don't need dex at all. Because your armor class, I can't say it all. But your armor class is going to be derived from that shell. You're going to start with a 17 armor class. You know, at the later levels, yeah, you're going to lag behind, but the early levels, not so much. And I just think it works. You know, Oogway.
So you heard it here first. You want to play a superior low-level monk, Turtle's the way to go.
Absolutely. So next we have the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
And here we get another 3 choices. So our list is growing.
We got Kalistar. We also have Shifters, but only the Wild Hunt really work for in this case. And Warforged Envoy.
Which, we've already talked about in our disclaimer.
Now, that leaves one book left to go to.
So we go to Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and here, as crazy as it sounds, we're actually looking at the Centaur.
That's right. I'm going to play this monk at some point. It's going to be a strength-based monk, and it is going to be a Centaur, and he's going to be super mobile. The reason why I love that idea, at the upper levels, the monk can run across the water or up walls, and, climbing is the biggest disadvantage for a Centaur.
All right, so I think at this point in time, we need to bring out and thank our sponsor for this video, Easy Roller Dice. Let's conjure some dice for them. Easy Roller Dice. It is the premier dice company of Nerdarchy. We've been using their products for years. They have the best metal dice that are out there. They just finished their Kickstarter for the Ancient Metal Dragons dice, and they're awesome.
That's metal dice of Ancient Dragons, Ted.
Very true.
Yes, the dice are awesome. We love Easy Roller Dice. They've been with us for a long time. They have great products. We consistently use their products at our table whenever we play in-person games.
Absolutely. If you want to help support the channel, support their sponsors, check out the link to Easy Roller Dice in the description down below. There's a promo code for 20% off for your first order.
We break these things down into 3 different categories. We've already done the stat category. Now we're on to features, and I found this one the most challenging, and to figure out, what features does a race provide that are just going to make them better at monks? I mean, there's always certain races get abilities like Lucky where that's just good no matter what you play. It's not specific to anything, but what are we going to play that's going to be a monk and it's going to kind of maximize, enhance us being monks? To me, I kind of think combat features as well as mobility.
So with the features, you're absolutely right. With movement, the Wood Elf gets a +5 to their speed right off the bat. The Tabaxi has the ability to double their speed for a round. Super helpful, super mobile. And last, as you already mentioned, was the Centaur.
Yeah, all of those are great for that reason. The extra added mobility, extra options. I really enjoy also the idea of the Wood Elf with their ability to kind of like disappear into natural surroundings as long as there's just light obscurement. So that kind of adds to the mystery of the monk as well. You have the Turtle. The Turtle, their ability to just have a shell where they're completely armored all the time is a huge boon to the monk because they don't have to worry about their armor class so much.
The Loxodon also has a built-in armor class as well. It's not quite as superior as the Turtles, but as their stats grow up, that's going to be able to be affected as well.
Yeah, the Loxodon armor class is 2 plus your Constitution modifier. Now, we didn't talk about Constitution being a prime stat for the monk, but let's face it, if you're running around in melee combat, that's going to be super valuable is having a high armor class, and just in case you can't get out of the way that round.
We also have the Shifter, as you said, having shifting abilities offers them a lot of unique combat abilities.
Not only that, though, the Wild Hunt Shifter is interesting in the sense that its shifting abilities can be used to give it advantage on wisdom checks, which makes it also very intuitive. So you could use that if you were, say, interviewing a suspect or interrogating someone to increase your chances of knowing whether they're lying to you or not through a wisdom check or insight check.
But it's also going to help out with perception. So if you're scouting, it's it's going to be super helpful as well.
Yes, if you're actively searching for something, you can have that on as well. It's going to be super, super helpful. And they also kind of have a bit of a scent ability, so it's easy for them to track people as well. So you could make like a different kind of monk using the Wild Hunt Shifter.
The last thing we have on the features is, going to fall into our disclaimers, and that's human. With their ability with the variant of going with the feet, you can literally take any of those options that are there to change or complement whatever kind of monk you want to play.
Yeah, it's going to be very customizable, whether you're looking to get another +1 to a stat or, for a specific ability, it's going to help you make the monk you want to be.
So next we're obviously, gonna finish off with the themes.
All right, for themes, I was looking at races that seemed to me to be kind of serene or contemplative or maybe spiritual in nature.
The kind that are going to sit back and not just get right into the thick of it. So while the features, were very combat appropriate, here we're looking for those races that are kind of on the other side.
Yeah, they're truth seekers and contemplative in nature. So, right at the top of the list, we have the Furbolg. They're one with nature, hanging out. I can definitely see them meditating, in the woods, maybe even a monastery that's kind of built into the natural surroundings.
So next we have the turtle. Turtles are in nature, very slow moving, so they're not quick to take their actions. You mentioned Oogway from Kung Fu Panda. Totally an awesome example of what a turtle monk would be like.
Now, we also have a race that isn't on any of our other lists, and that's the Githzerai. I think they would make an awesome psychic monk.
They're reading the entry of the Githzerai, it screams monk, right in there. So absolutely 100% have to agree with that one.
Another one, we have to go to Eberron, the Kalistar. Again, it's actually another psychic race. They're very much tied to the realm of dreams as well. They seem like a race that wouldn't really be super religious in the sense of worshiping gods, but I feel like they have their own religion and they seem very spiritual to me. I think, personality-wise, they'd be a great fit for your monk.
I would 100% agree with you. Next, we're going to jump over to the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and that's going to be the Loxodon.
The Loxodon is another race that is large and kind of ponderous, but I feel like they think the same way. They're slow to act. They're slow and take their time thinking things and contemplating things. The description of them made me think these would make great monks.
Seeing their trunk to have some more, mechanical uses. I would love to just I grab your arm, I punch you with the trunk. But sadly, we can't do that unless your DM is just cool with adding some flavor in there.
Maybe we'll get some racial feats for the Loxodon later on where they can punch people in the face with their trunk.
That would be fun. So what's the last one on our list there, Dave?
Vedalken. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right or not. It makes me want to do a Hadouken. But yeah, that's another one. They seek perfection, and they're in the same book as the Loxodon. So I kind of feel like someone who is seeking perfection, that just seems like a monk thing to do.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not, super knowledgeable about the Vedalken, but, they do line up with that, seeking perfection. The physical form is definitely something that, to me, measures up with something that would make a really great monk.
Now let's jump into the end of this video like we always do, and we're going to pick our top 3 picks that we think are the best races for playing a monk.
All right, so this one we had a lot of debate over, and I am certain that some of you watchers out there are not going to be happy with our picks, but in our opinion, number 3, we're going to go with the Turtle.
The Turtle is awesome if you want to make a strength-based monk. It's actually the number 1 pick if that's your goal.
With the Turtle, you don't need to focus on dex because you've got that built-in armor class, so you can go high wisdom, high strength, and just beat things with your monk weapons and focus on that strength. Yeah, you're not going to have good acrobatic rolls, but I think your athletic rolls are going to be much higher than what other monks are going to wind up doing.
Yeah, and they're going to have some other abilities that are also useful that are going to bring some stuff to the table as well to make it, an interesting and fun character to play. So number 2.
So what do we have here?
Aarakocra. If you want the ultimate movement we're going to go with flight, and they actually have a very high fly speed. Aarakocra is going to get there for you.
They're going to start off with a speed of 25 and a flight speed of 50. Now, reading through both on D&D Beyond and the Player's Handbook, we couldn't find any errata that says only your base walking speed increases when you gain those monk levels. It just says your speed. So the way we took it, that means all forms of movement. Therefore, getting that plus the speed is going to give you a flight speed of 80. And if you take mobile, that's 90.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some other ways for us to pump that up as well. So you can definitely do some fun things with that. Granted, I know there's certain DMs that may not allow you to play an Aarakocra. You can't play it in Adventurers League. That would be the downside, and definitely a reason for it to not be our number one pick. You also, again, get those bonuses to Wisdom and Dex, so they're going to make a great monk.
All right, so our number one, our best pick is going to be the Wild Hunt Shifter. You want to tell them why?
Didn't see this one coming when we started talking about this video. They get Dex, they get Wisdom. That's one of the things we're after. For combat, they can shift and get temporary hit points. Super useful if someone's trying to hit you in the face. They can also shift to get those benefits to their insight checks or perception checks or just plain wisdom checks. So it actually has an out of combat function as well. They can do it every long or short rest, so they're going to get to use it fairly often. Not only that, they have some other abilities that are going to round them out. We just think this would make a fun and interesting monk, and possibly even the best statistically as well.
As I said, I know some of you out there will probably be screaming for another race. So if you want to say what you felt is, the best or your top three, down in the comments below, you can let us know.
We already know Wood Elf would make a great monk, and so would Ghostwise Halfling. They're actually in our notes here. Those were the runners up. If we had a 4th and 5th place, they would definitely be in there, but they didn't quite make it. Now, once again, hey, you like these videos, you like it when we create content that you can put right in your Dungeons & Dragons game. Well, when we do that, a lot of times we will take that information and we will turn it into products over on Patreon and send it out to our patrons. They get it for less, they get it first. Plus, we have a bunch of other benefits over there as well. If you already are a patron, I just want to say thank you. You guys are amazing. You help us do what we do. Go check out the Patreon.
While you're heading down there, don't forget to check out easyrollerdice.com/nerdarchy and that promo code for 20% off as a one-use code.
You can also head down to the comments and continue the conversation. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And until next time,
Stay nerdy.